Welcome all, I'm Mark Shuey, and this is Fantasy Football, a reality competition. Head on over to the Primetime Fantasy Network on YouTube, subscribe, like this video, and click the notification bell to get all of our great content at your fingertips the second that it goes live. This season, we will follow the fantasy lives of 22 football junkies across 15 states and 3 provinces of Canada as they draft an eliminator league and compete in weekly fantasy challenges for immunity, special power, and ultimately, their own survival. The contestants will have to use their season-long and DFS skills to survive the week and move on to the next week of competitions. Each week will consist of 3 parts. First up is the Immunity Showdown, an all-play DFS competition on Thursday night to win weekly safety from elimination. Those who don't win immunity will face off in the Gauntlet Challenge, a season-long lineup with weekly twists to determine our top nerd for the week. Those in the bottom will be forced to fight for their lives in the Elimination Showdown on Monday night, a DFS competition where the lowest scoring contestant will be dropped from the league, and their Gauntlet rosters will be sent to waivers for the remaining contestants. Our contestants are drafting 10 rounds, 220 players overall. Their starting lineups consist of a quarterback, 1 running back, 2 wide receivers, and 4 flex spots. And to make room for the Elimination Showdown, Monday night players are ineligible for Gauntlet lineups, so I'd expect some players with Monday night games early in the season to go a little later than their ADP. We've got a great show for you tonight and a signed Jalen Waddle jersey to give away, but first, let's meet our contestants and see how they drafted. Here's our first group now, featuring a few of our neighbors from the north.
Oh, I'm the Matty Daddy, former college football player, D-line, Huntington College. Been doing content creation for a couple years now. I'm a husband. I'm a father. Got 2 kids. 1 on the way any minute now. Maybe tomorrow, maybe the next day. I'm here to bring the fire, the desire, everything and anything, guys. And just enjoying the grind, but at the same time, I'm all about my family first. I'm just a passionate mother trucker, and I'm here to win. All in, the Matty Daddy. Oh!
You might know me as Thomas Tipple, FF, from the Bird App, or the Full Tilt Dynasty podcast, or the Fantasy Walkabout podcast. Look, I'm just a humble guy from Guelph, Ontario, Canada, big fan of the Baltimore Ravens. As much as I'd love to do fantasy full-time, I am a glass technician when I'm not behind this mic. As for my league mates, I wish you all the best, but at the end of the day, like David Leonard would say, that title's coming home to me.
See you later, Tom. Let me know if you need any more advice before your game on Thursday. Oh, hey! My name is Chase, aka Too Many TDs, hailing from San Diego, California. During the day, I'm a creative director at House of Max, which is the creative agency for HBO Max. But when the night comes at 5 o'clock, or on Sundays, or during my free time, I am also a fantasy football writer and personality, also a diehard Eagles fan, and I'm just happy. I'm just so excited to join the ranks here and just absolutely crush the dreams of whoever thinks they can stand in my way. So look forward to a fantastic season where I can make some people cry.
What's going on, my new friends? It's Kerry here. I am from St. Louis, Missouri. As you can tell, I am a lifelong Chiefs fan. I am also the brand ambassador of Fantasy and Frames, so that's always fun. I am married. I have 2 kids and 2 dogs. I'm only in 4 leagues, one of them being a Scott Fishbowl, a couple others with friends and family. Gives me something to also do on the weeks that football's playing. I got some competition. I am going to currently be the winner of this league. So watch out. Cheers. And go Chiefs.
I'm Gymnastic, True North Fantasy Football, at Gold Jacket QPs on Twitter. Want to be in on this fantasy football reality competition? $25, small amount to pay to lay waste to 21 other people in this weekly competition to show you that I am the best. To quote my man, fellow Canadian Bret Hart, the best there is, the best there was, the best there ever will be. Put me in, find out. Man, you know who I am.
My name is Julien Barnett. I'm from Calgary, Alberta, Canada, up north. I run the Point After FF podcast. We air an episode every Friday. By day, I work for a hydrovacing and sewer replacement company. It keeps me quite busy. And then, my fantasy life is also very busy. I've got 17 weeks of very intense action on the way, so I'm super excited.
I did something that was totally unexpected of me. I missed the draft dates due to family circumstances. I ended up drafting a fire team. Got a few moves to make there. Need to pick up a different quarterback. Not too sold on a couple of my bench spots, but we'll see. We'll see how this plays out. Just makes it a little bit more harder, man, because how easy would it have been if you guys actually let me draft the team I really wanted to draft? Wouldn't have even been a competition. It would have been over. Like Vince Carter. It's over. It's over.
Okay, Russ Wilson at quarterback, feels good. I got Kamara, feels good. Cup, feels good. So we got my studs right there. Then I took some wild cards. I'm molding some clay over here. Some upside players. Are they going to pay off? I'm not sure. We'll find out. But we've got LaVisca. We've got A.J. Dillon, Hamler. We got Zach Moss and David Johnson.
Well, I was pick 15, so that left pretty much all of the good players were gone by the time it got to me. Let's be honest though. I mean, at pick 15, you want someone that's going to be reliable. I wanted someone with a late bye week. I also wanted someone that was going to be a high scorer. I didn't really have another choice but Patrick Mahomes at that point. So I went with Patrick. At that point, I knew I had to get my running backs and my wide receivers in place. Snaked back around, and so I picked up Chris Carson. Then I took Randall Cobb. Then I took Devontae Johnson. Then I took Booker, Mike Williams, Van Jefferson. Now I got to find a tight end. So I got Higbee, and I got Ingram. Ingram's out. I also picked up Odell Beckham. Beckham's out. I'm halfway through these, though. I mean, some of them were hard picks, so you didn't really know who you were going to get, especially at pick 15. So
my draft process, it was pretty simple. Take the best player available on the board. I went Metcalf, Clyde, Claypool, Harris in the first 4 rounds, and I was totally happy. Now, where I made mistakes is forgetting that there's no IR and that you could only roster one quarterback. So I went with Michael Thomas and Trey Lance, who I think are incredible plays for redraft for late in the year. However, I have to make it until late in the year to be able to use them. So I'm looking forward to seeing how this draft strategy works out. But I gotta tell you, it's gonna be tough.
I wanted to go and grab Saquon Barkley at the 107. He's a guy who I truly believe in. I think people are forgetting how good he is. Then in the second round, I was pumped to get CeeDee Lamb at the 216, one of my favorite players in this year. In a large league format like this, you really have to take some shots on guys that you think can hit. And so I really like DJ Moore. I really like Ryan Tannehill back here. Going to be a consistent guy.
So this was my first time ever doing a 22-person draft. I wanted to get one running back and then just hit wide receiver hard. Luckily, I got the 3rd pick and thought I'd get my RB1 on the season, which is Alvin Kamara. I was ready for it. It was coming straight for me. And of course, that big old hairy, lovable, but also hateable man, Matty Daddy, decided to swoop in and steal my Alvin Kamara. I still got Dalvin Cook, not too mad about it. And then I just hit wide receiver as hard as I can. I loved what I was able to pick up. I had Chris Godwin, I had Michael Pittman. I want to have some solid quarterback play. And so I saw Aaron Rodgers sitting there waiting for me to pick him up. And I just clicked that buy button. Quickly thereafter realized that he was playing Monday Night Week 2 and said, wish I could take that back. I was also able to get Nelson Aguilar, which I think was a nice steal. Antonio Brown, which I got really excited that he fell to me. All in all, I think I have a pretty solid squad. I feel good. I feel confident. I feel ready to crush the competition. Let's go. This is going to be a good season.
We will meet the rest of the contestants and the teams they drafted in just a moment. We'll be right back on Fantasy Football. Do you wish you could compete with the contestants of Fantasy Football? Do you love winning signed football memorabilia and swag? Introducing Fantasy Football, the fan competition, exclusively on the Primetime Fantasy Network Patreon page. Draft a squad of 5 contestants from Fantasy Football, a reality competition, select a captain, and their fantasy points become your fantasy points. Earn the top fan score for October and win a signed James Robinson mini helmet. And a portion of all patronage will add to the rolling jackpot awarded to the winner of Fantasy Football. You know what time it is. Join the Primetime Inner Circle today at patreon.com/primetimefantasy and make winning Fantasy your reality. Welcome back to Fantasy. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Our next contestants include a group of longtime home league rivals. Let's meet them and check out their teams.
What's up, guys? It's Steve Kelly, a.k.a. The Surgeon, checking in. I'm married to my beautiful wife, Kelly. I have 2 children, a little girl named Reagan and a boy named Connor. I'm a huge Philadelphia Eagles fan. I've had season tickets in the past. I try to get to games every year. I live for it. My walls are adorned with Eagles gear. I bleed green. And the only thing I love as much as the Eagles is fantasy football. I think anybody that's super competitive and by nature, they want to prove that all the time, right? At the end of the day, I joined this league because I wanted to prove to myself that I'm as good as I think I am. A lot of these guys have podcasts, their own show, they're doing their own rankings year-round, so I want to see how I stack up against the competition. I'm coming for everybody, and I'll be doing my studying, and look out for the Surgeon, baby.
Yo, what's up? DFS Professor, a.k.a. KillerBee, coming in. Looking forward to getting involved in this league. I love fantasy football. I've been drafting for about 22 years now. What feels like 22 years. I play across the country with the people that I grew up with, people I went to school with, throwing some knowledge out there. I'm a professor of history in New Jersey. I root for the Jets, unfortunately, so I know what pain feels like. But I love picking players, and I love trying to make money.
Hey everybody, it's your boy Mo, checking in from Scranton, Pennsylvania. Lifelong Miami Dolphins fan. Got 3 boys, 3 dogs. We keep it real around here. Fantasy Football League. I'm excited to be here. Never really been in anything as far as reality TV other than Bachelor in Paradise. I love that show. You know, I might have the looks to be on that show, but instead I'm here playing fantasy football with you guys. Well, as far as the competition goes, they better get ready for Mo Sticky. Get ready to hear that name a lot. Especially the Surgeon, like he likes to call himself over there. Let's have fun. Let's get after it. And fins up.
KillerBee and Mo Sticky. They're in a few house leagues with me. Mo Sticky, he's kind of my nemesis. We've gone back and forth plenty of years. Let's go see if by the end of the year his entire roster might be Dolphins players. Look out for that. He's known to do that. KillerBee, try winning a championship one time in your life. I mean, one championship. Somebody please find out how this guy got in the league.
What's up, everyone? It's your boy Shuey here. I'm an electrical engineer. I work for one of the local electric utilities here in the area. I'm currently working on my master's in engineering management. I'm a big-time Ravens fan. Big trust, whoop whoop. I am a season ticket holder, so be prepared to see a lot of videos from tailgates, from reactions to plays, to videos from inside the stadium. The bank is an amazing place, and I'm happy to share all my images and videos that I can get while I'm in there with all of you. I'm ready to dominate, ready to send everyone home, and be crowned the champion. Let's get it.
Pretty much everybody that knows me either calls me Coach or Coach Craig's. I currently reside in a small town in Wisconsin. I've done a couple different things throughout my life. Ran my own business, being self-employed. Coached 9th grade baseball as well. I do have a roommate who is one of my college roommates. I definitely enjoy watching football. I played football myself. When I was 10 years old, that's kind of when I was first getting into football. I grew up around a lot of Packers fans. Didn't really like the Cheddarheads. The Texans were really just that team when I first got into football. They were that new team, and I played a lot of Madden, when I was a little kid. And I love doing that expansion draft, and I just kind of got hooked from there. I'm still in these competitive leagues with some other analysts and everything like that, some dynasty leagues, best balls. I play a lot of DFS as well, so still very competitive. Obviously, I'm very excited for this competition. Fingers crossed, hopefully I come out on top.
I definitely wanted to get a starting running back. I felt like we needed to get one in the first round, and I did that, taking Najee at 11. Feel really good about that. He used to be a 3-down running back there in Pittsburgh. In all my mocking, it seemed like I was probably going to have to go quarterback in round 2. But when it came back around and I saw David Montgomery there, you know, that's a good RB2 really in any 12-person redraft league. So in a league like this, I decided there's still some good quarterbacks out there. Let me grab D-Mont there. He came back around. I'm an Eagles fan. I love this kid. I think he's going to be a star. I got Jalen Hurts with my 3rd pick. This is a 4-point passing touchdown league, so mobile quarterbacks are a premium. He's going to be running a lot. He's one of like 4 quarterbacks that could rush for 1,000 yards this year. Coming back through, I had to start pounding on the receiver position. I was able to get my stack there with Devonta Smith. I was able to get Rondale Moore on the team, a gadget player from Arizona who should get a lot of looks this year with jet sweeps, bubble screens, things of that. He looked explosive in preseason. Overall, I'm happy with the team. We're very back into the roster. We're going to have to do a little bit turning, but that's the sport we're in here. I feel good about it. We should be competitive.
I picked 18th out of 22 people. That was a long wait for my first pick, and having to wait for those turns to come back around to me was terrible. I was looking to go for either a hero running back or 0 running back strategy and really load up on my wide receivers. I really wanted Aaron Jones in that spot with what was left on the board, but Brener Stone decided to snipe him right before me at 17. I ended up going Antonio Gibson for the Washington football team. I think he's got a really high upside this year. I think he's got the potential to get a really big volume this year with that offense. Going into round 2, I went with Lamar Jackson as my quarterback. A little bit of a homer pick, but I love the rushing upside that he brings to the team. Round 3, I had my eyes set on Deontay Johnson. You know, Kerry sniped him from me a couple picks before me. So I ended up going with Higgins in the 3rd, and then coming back around in the 4th, I went with Jerry Jeudy. That's my ride or die combo this year, and why not take him in another league, and I'm either going to win leagues with them or I'm going to sink like a rock. 5th round, I went with Rob Tonyan. As we get farther into this competition, I can start scooping some guys off waivers and really fill in those depth pieces where I think I'm going to need it. But overall, really excited about this team.
I was the 20th pick out of the 22 teams, so personally, I decided to go after players that I deemed a little bit safer. My overall approach ended up being a 0 running back strategy. My wide receiver core consists of Calvin Ridley, who I believe ended up being my first pick overall. We had Juju Smith-Schuster, Cortland Sutton in there too. Marvin Jones, you know, he's a value that I do love a lot this year. Going this 0 running back strategy, there was not a lot of quality running back options out there. I did go Dak Prescott in the 2nd round. He does have a Monday Night Football game early on the season too, so I'm going to have to pick up another quarterback to replace him that week.
You know, I noticed a lot of these guys weren't thinking about Monday Night Football when they were drafting, and the fact that we can't use Monday Night players. I took Kyler Murray in 7 leagues because my man runs the ball all over. Make Lamar Jackson looking like a punk. Big year for the Cardinals. We're going to do well in this league with this lineup. I love it. I love it.
Rivalry runs strong with this next group of teams as well, but really, we just wanted to get all the Cowboys fans in one segment so we didn't have to hear them talk for that long. So, here it is.
What's up, guys? It's Patrick. Born and raised in Victoria, Texas. I'm a teacher in Victoria. I have 2 stepdaughters and my son. I've been playing fantasy football for about 8-9 years now, and I'm about 5 or 6 leagues at the moment. I love what I do, and I love playing fantasy football every single year. This household is all about Cowboys. I didn't know I had another option to love anything but the Cowboys, and I'm grateful for that.
Team with a star on the helmet, the Dallas Cowboys. I was drawn to their stars and big personalities such as Mr. Primetime, Deion Sanders, the great Michael Irvin, Troy Aikman, and of course, one of the best NFL rushers of all time, Emmitt Smith. Hi, my name is Gerardo, but y'all can call me G-Money. I reside in Turlock, California, where I live with my beautiful 18-month-old daughter, Vanessa. I first got introduced to fantasy football in 2003 by some friends in high school. Ever since then, fantasy football has been a part of my life. I love it just to keep in touch with old friends, make new ones, and I love introducing it to new people every year. So when I heard about this fantasy football reality competition, I knew I had to be a part of it, because I had to see how I measured up with other people who love fantasy football as much as me.
What's going on, everybody? My name's Tony. I'm what you might call the resident redneck of this group, aka Cooter. I'm a Dallas Cowboys fan through and through. Basically, you either love them or you hate them. There's no in-between ground with them, it seems. I run an oil field supply company down here in South Texas. Been playing fantasy football for about 15 years now. Of course, can't really say I'm enjoying it. Sometimes it's stressful as hell. But all in all, it's been a fun experience.
My name is Clayton Stoneburner. I am 36 years old. I live in Mountain Home, Idaho. From South Texas, moved up earlier this year. Proud father of 2 beautiful daughters. They're the light of my life. This year, I think I have upwards of 20 dynasties, 25 dynasties. I'd have to go count it. I'm very much looking forward to this competition, fantasy football, and hopefully we can get off to a real hot start. Let's go.
Oh, Brener Stone taught him everything he knows about fantasy football, basically. So he still can't beat me. There's no friends for fantasy football.
What's going on, everybody? You've got Joe Memmolo Jr. here. I'm the Director of Information Systems at Dynasty Football Factory. I'm a Jets fan, so, I focused on fantasy football over real football for over a decade now. My earliest experience with fantasy was helping my dad set his lineup in 2003, so only 9 years old at the time. And I started commissioning my first league when I was in 10th grade. I'm really looking forward to throwing my name into the hat for this unique opportunity. And hopefully the world gets to see a little bit more of this face, maybe a little more cleaned up over the next 19 weeks.
Hey everybody, I go by either B-Horn pretty much every day or Roto Braden, but you can call me Champion, after I win this league. On top of playing this full-time job, 40 hours a week that I do, and I run my own fantasy website, fantasyteamadvisor.com. Being in small town Iowa in the 90s, the only games that were really on were the Rams games on Sunday. Then I got into fantasy football, so my teams were whoever was on my fantasy team. That was my favorite team that year. But go Pack go, because I married into it, and you can't really get away from stuff like that. I have a wife, a beautiful wife. We have almost a 2-year-old baby. Then we have 2 dogs as well. So really playing for them. At the end of this season, you can watch me say that I am the first fantasy football reality champion. And hopefully I'll win your heart, your soul, and everything that you guys can give me. I will try to give back in this competition. Thank you. Let's get it.
I was drafting out of the number 9 position. Not completely ideal, but it works. I wanted to get a stud back right off the bat, so I went Jonathan Taylor. I got a good solid core of deep threats and big play receivers and a decent little core of running backs. I waited on my QB. It's a 1 QB league. You don't want to draft a quarterback in the first round or anything like that. Round 8, I went with Zach Wilson. Tony Romo said basically he's going to be a top quarterback in this league pretty soon here. Tony Romo's like a god to us Dallas Cowboys, My team came out hella good.
So Tony's going to keep on dancing while Braden displays every team but his own for his draft breakdown. I had the 20th of 22 picks, so that right there already felt like I was at a disadvantage. I knew I wasn't going to get the top guys. I felt pretty confident with Joe Mixon there. Then it came back around, and I knew, the whole strategy of running back, wide receiver, whatever it is, kind of out the window. There's really no strategy with 22 teams. So I came around, I took Josh Allen with my second pick. The third pick I took was Kareem Hunt. Now, I don't like this. I'm not going to lie to you, but there wasn't a lot of great available here. Came back around with that, took TJ Hawkinson, love TJ, big Iowa Hawkeye fan here. I'm not a huge fan of my team overall, but the way this works, I think my knowledge of fantasy, either daily or season long, will help me through this.
I've never had that big of a draft before, and I ended up number 16. It took a long time to get to me, and then the turnaround was still too long. I really was just trying to get best available. I wasn't worried about quarterback until later. I really wanted running back first, and then I really wanted to stack up on wide receivers. I wouldn't really snipe my pick. It kind of played out okay, I guess. I think it'll be okay. We'll see what happens week 1.
So I avoided the Ravens, the Raiders, the Lions, and the Packers, which are the first 2 matchups of Monday Night Football. To be honest, I got the gift and the curse, the 4th overall pick. The gift is it's a top 4 pick. The curse is that more than likely I wasn't going to get one of the top 3 running backs. I ended up going with what I thought is the safe pick, Nick Chubb from the Cleveland Browns. Great offensive line. They have a pretty solid team, so you know he's going to get a lot of touches. Ended up starting with Mike Evans, and luckily did end up getting a Cowboy with Amari Cooper in the 3rd round. Brandon Cooks on the Houston Texans. I mean, somebody's got to catch the ball over there. I waited on a quarterback all the way till round 7. Got someone who I think might perform well. It's just Kirk Cousins. He's got a lot of good weapons around him with Dalvin Cook, Justin Jefferson, and Thielen, and he has a pretty soft schedule to start with.
I've got Aaron Jones at running back, which it doesn't get much safer than Aaron Jones, and where I got him towards the end of the 1st round, just absolute steal. A.J. Brown has every chance to finish as the wide receiver 1 this year. And then you have Brandon Ayuk. Here is a guy who I think could end up being, the 1A, 1B with Kittle. I got to go with my guy Rojo, man. I got to believe that he's going to take over the backfield this year. And I'm running with it. Win, lose, or draw. Starting at quarterback, I have Trevor Lawrence. He's got all the talent in the world. He's got opportunity. He's got weapons. I mean, I don't see why he can't succeed. Let you know how it goes.
We'll meet our last group of teams after this brief message. We'll be right back on Fantasy. Stay with us. The 2nd Thursday of the month, go all in at the Primetime Poker Room, part of the Primetime Fantasy Patreon page. Join us on October 14th during Thursday Night Football, and the winner will take home another signed Jalen Waddle jersey. That's the 2nd one we're giving away this month. Yes, I did get a little bit happy on the Waddle, but I love this kid, so if I win, I'm keeping it. You know what time it is. Join the inner circle now at patreon.com/primetimefantasy. We are back on Fantasy. Don't forget to hit that notification bell on YouTube to get tomorrow's episode as soon as it drops. We are coming to our home stretch, the last group of drafters. Let's meet them.
My name is Jay Cola. I'm married to my college sweetheart. Been together for 17 years, folks. I love being a girl dad. And then comes my love of fantasy football. And I love high stakes fantasy football because I love drafting with the best fantasy football players in the world. I'm about to jump on an airplane and go to the sizzling hot city of Las Vegas for the FFPC main event, fantasy football, which I'm so excited to be a cast member. I can already taste some of my victories. They're going to come tough. Nothing's easy with these great competitors that we're playing against, but I'm amongst the best in this group, and I'm looking forward to winning.
Hey, my name is Big Doug. I'm the host of The Big Douglas Show. Huge fantasy football fan, podcaster, and YouTuber. I'm a Washington football team fan, hoping for a new name. I'm very excited about the concept that you guys have come up with. It is fresh. I've not seen it before. I'm also a fan of contests like these, where there's a weekly eliminations and you have to achieve something to get immunity. Top Chef comes to mind. I'm really excited to be a part of it.
My name's Justin Chase, aka Justin Case, aka Justin Time, aka the Bearded Legend, aka JC Money Design. 34 years old. I live in Minnesota. I was in the military for a while, Air Force. That's where I actually got my fantasy football commissioning started. From here, it would be just super cool to join in and compete. Let's get it, man. Let's get it.
It's your boy here, Alex Kerpeck, host of the League of Tomorrow Fantasy Football Podcast. You all can call me Kerp. Rochester, New York is where I'm from. Very close to these Buffalo Bills. 32 years old. Work in the post office, so not only am I delivering your bills, My Bills will then beat your team on Sunday. I'm in 20 leagues at the moment. This one right now is 21. I commish 7 of them, a few guillotine ones. I do them all. I'm willing to experience them all. This one's going to be fun. Looking forward to it.
Jeremy Brener here, and the one reason why I want to do this, there's only one reason, and that's to win. I only want to win. I'm a writer for SB Nation right there. I've also recently started writing for Fan Nation or Sports Illustrated. I'm also not really known as a fantasy guy, so I think I could use that to my advantage. I'm the most competitive person that I know. Throw any challenge at me, and I'm gonna make it happen. I come to win, and I wouldn't sign up if I didn't think I could.
I got the number 1 pick in the draft, and I took McCaffrey, and obviously I'm super happy about that. I took Herbert and Pitts, which was probably what I shouldn't have done. I probably should have just waited. Honestly, I thought this league was going to be drafting quarterbacks, tight ends, all that kind of nonsense, you know. Ended up getting Jamal Williams. I think that's going to pan out as my RB2. Corey Davis is my 1, so is my wide receiver, and he's looking like the guy. If I would have waited on quarterbacks and tight ends, I would have had a pretty beastly team. I wish I could have gone back and redid the draft. My squad's alright. It's going to be good enough to get by. Should be able to win some games. But, we'll see.
I only need to start 1 running back in this format, and I wasn't going to force that running back. I never expected Aaron Jones to be on the board when I drafted at 13. The big, glaring part of Aaron Jones's resume is that in week 2, he is on Monday Night Football. I'm not going to be able to use him. Ultimately, in round 1, I chose Stephon Diggs. In the second round, I had no hesitation to run up and draft Justin Jefferson. This guy is electric. He does things that we have never seen a rookie wide receiver do before, and he's just going to take the next step. For my 3rd pick, I had a little bit of some concern with taking Tyler Lockett. I did end up taking Tyler Lockett. My big hesitation is that my top 3 players are all going to be out week 7. That is a huge red flag. I'm just extremely concerned. My 4th and 5th picks, I took Cincinnati Bengals. Tyler Boyd felt like a good fit with this team. That's my 4th wide receiver. And then I was getting kind of concerned with the quarterbacks that were left, and I felt like this was the great time to just, take a high volume passer with Joe Burrow. I've kind of created a stack there on my team, and I'm feeling good about it. There really weren't that many great running back options left at that point that I felt comfortable starting in week 1. So, hey, why not Sony? All in all, I feel very comfortable with my team. I went very wide receiver heavy, but I got some great wide receivers. I would put my wide receivers against anyone else in this league.
22 teams. I had pick 8. Very, very weird draft. There was 10 rounds. Went very interesting. Instead of taking the 8th best running back, let's try to get a position difference and position advantage. So I took Devontae Adams and then came back with Allen Robinson at 215. Then I took Brady in the 3rd because I saw Wilson, Rodgers, Herbert went at the end of the 2nd, so I had a feeling a quarterback run was going, and there was only 9 quarterbacks I wanted. If I didn't get one of them, I wasn't happy. Melvin Gordon was my first running back taken in the 4th round. I'm very high on him. He seems like a sneaky running back this year. I took Curtis Samuel in the 5th round, Jonnu Smith in the 6th. I like those values. They're very different strategies, which I enjoyed. So I went a little bit different as others. We're just going to see how this goes, and hopefully it works out, and I'm not in the bottom half after week 1.
When I went into the draft, I stayed quiet because I feel like, okay, Jeremy, let other people talk. I can retain all this information and learn from these people that clearly know what they're doing more than I do. Coming in 10th in the draft was very good for me because it was right in the middle, so I didn't have too much of a turn on any of the rounds. Tyreek Hill fell into my lap at 10. I was real happy about that. The second time around, I got Darren Waller. Get to round 3, and I'm thinking between Mostert and Gus Edwards, and I'm like, Gus Edwards is the better pick right there. but I was worried that I was going to take a second guy on that Monday night and it was going to screw me. Took Edwards. I think I made the right decision. And lucky enough, I got Mostert on the next round. I ended up becoming the last player to get a quarterback. And I was like, all right. I ended up going with Darnold because I like that week 1 matchup, but I'm a little nervous. Can't go home first. Like, do not. Like, it is the number 1 rule in any of these games. Don't go home first. If somehow, some way, the fantasy gods shine on Mr. Jeremy, I will be thrilled.
Before we sign off tonight, we asked our contestants to highlight a cause, a business, or a charity they would like to promote during the season. Let's see what some of our contestants are playing for this year.
I know fantasy football is about winning, and it's the immunities, it's the elimination challenges, but part of it too is being able to talk to such a great group of people and just talking about what we're really trying to accomplish outside of winning in fantasy. And for me, it's for Brighter Skies.
A charity that's really close to my heart is Cyber Smiles. This past summer, I hosted a best ball tournament, the Brighter Skies best ball tournament, to stop cyberbullying.
Cyber Smiles is a charity that, really helps to prevent and educate people about cyberbullying. The Brighter Skies best ball league, I was chosen to be a participant in that. That was a contest that did mean a lot to me.
Helping people with cyberbullying and teaching parents and kids how to get through it, and just spreading as much love and positivity, and that is something that I am all about all the time. I'm definitely playing and will be donating anything I win to Brighter Skies.
Most people know about St. Jude, and they help kids, with cancer, making sure that parents do not have to pay bills up front and stuff like that.
Like most people, I've been negatively affected by cancer, as my father, Gerardo Sr, lost his battle last November. So I'll be playing to bring awareness to the Cancer Research Institute, which is a nonprofit which funds studies and trials to find the cure for all types of cancer.
One of the things that I think is really important that we should all take a minute to think about for ourselves and those around us is mental health awareness. People in my life that have dealt with mental health issues for a long time, and a lot of people that we know are dealing with some type of mental health issues themselves, whether we know it or not. They're dealing with it. So 2 of the organizations that I think are great in terms of researching mental health and trying to advocate for mental health awareness are the National Institute of Mental Health and Mental Health America. So if anybody does want to donate to a good cause, those are 2 really good organizations that I myself support.
So I want to give a shout out to my man Stu with Dream to Walk Foundation on Twitter. It's Dream, the number 2, Walk. He is definitely a good dude, and his foundation is doing some good things.
There's definitely great charities out there, whether it's your local food bank, whether it's a small business, whether it's anything out there. And anytime you have the opportunity to give and help others, I'm definitely a big proponent of that.
This year I'm playing for NFT Draft. It is NFTs meets football. It is daily meets dynasty. You get to buy cards, and you can only make your lineup with the cards that you have. Real cash prize tournaments. You own the cards forever, and they're NFTs, so they appreciate in value. NFT Draft, the future of fantasy sports.
Shout out to my crew I work with. Shout out to my brands over here. You got Fantasy Football Affair, fantasy football's best kept secret. Started that a little over a year ago. We're still rocking and rolling.
On Instagram, you gotta check me out at eFantasyFootball. I'm bringing to you a completely new way to experience fantasy football. It's absolutely free. All you need to do is follow, pick the team you want to root for, and you can win prizes.
A couple months ago, I became the permanent co-host of the Pick Is In Fantasy Football podcast with that Matt Kelly on Twitter. You can find the podcast at the Pick Is In FFP on Twitter.
Hopefully, even if it's just one other person out here that sees some of this content and doesn't know about Dogecoin and some of the cryptocurrencies that are out there, it's the wave of the future. I'm invested in it. I think people need to know about it. So yeah, I'm going to be spreading awareness of Dogecoin, the Philadelphia Eagles, and hopefully banging my chest to prove to myself that I'm one of the better fantasy minds out there.
My partner in crime, Matty Daddy, my NFT draft brethren. I am going to make you feel like you have to shave that beard down to this size in order to beat me. And I'm going to show you that the sleek nimbleness of a smaller beard is all you need to win these tournaments. And once that happens, I need you to bow down and let me know that your beard sucks. Gerardo G-Unit, G-Guy. You're also going down. We're in 2 leagues together. I have way more championships than he does, and I plan to add 1 more this season.
Just gotta say, I'm coming for each and every one of you guys, and I'm fixing to take down the competition this year and to get that trophy.
Play along with us at home with Fantasy Football, the fan competition. The top fan for October will win the James Robinson signed mini helmet, and all participants will add to the league's rolling jackpot awarded to the winner of Fantasy Football. To enter, log on to patreon.com/primetimefantasy on your desktop or mobile device. Like and subscribe to the Primetime Fantasy Network on YouTube and click the notification bell to never miss an episode. We thank you all for being with us tonight. This has been a pet project of mine for quite some time, and personally, I'm feeling very proud to finally see it take off in this pilot season. All of us at Fantasy Football have been having a ton of fun, and we are very excited to grow this concept along with you at home. Join us tomorrow night as immunity is up for grabs in the Thursday Night Immunity Showdown. Who will be safe for Week 1, and which contestant will be dropped from the competition? Find out tomorrow night on Fantasy Football. I'm Mark Shuey. Good night, all.
You let someone like me, David London, 4-time PCW Tag Team Champion, bring my championship pedigree to Fantasy Football, you'll all be handing the title to me.
Already know it's the surgeon checking in, repping the birds. You see what it is. I told you. I don't know how he got in this league. Oh, he can't win no chips in fantasy. Yeah, my man sitting over here.
Guys and gals, I look forward to playing with y'all. Hope y'all don't get too hurt when I take home the ship this year.
I'm going to get dirty in the trenches. I'm going to be biting kneecaps off. I'm going to be clawing in the back if I have to.
It doesn't matter if you want to see me on the sticks in Madden. It doesn't matter if you want to see me on a random Thursday night in a head-to-head. It doesn't really matter if you want to see me in the street. I'll bust you right now with a little hitch and go. You know what I mean?
I'll see you after week 1. I'll see you after week 2, week 3, week 4, week 5. I'll see you in the championship week of Fantasy Football.